Again, The View. These people are insane. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to say this, but they have lost their mind. So today on The View, basically, they had a little conversation about what to do next now that Trump has been elected to office. Of course, Whoopi, she had a problem. Everyone basically has a problem on The View with reality, and they're kind of deranged, and they all have Trump derangement syndrome. I find it very disturbing, and I find it very annoying, to tell you the truth, but today we're going to talk about it right now. Watch this.
So far, the current White House has declined to weigh in on any moves from the incoming administration, and a Washington Post op-ed is asking if the sudden silence from a lot of what they feel are vocal Democrats is a sign that the resistance against MAGA is fading out. But for Transportation Secretary Chief Pete Buttigieg, he has a different message about moving forward. Take a look.
We cannot be mesmerized by the worst things that we see happening. We will be inclined to react with shock by some things which are done precisely with the intent of shocking us. We need to move very quickly through the shock and condemnation into identifying what exactly has to be done. And that requires a more tactical mentality.
When Pete Buttigieg talks about what can be done at this moment, here's the truth, buddy. Absolutely nothing. Donald Trump has won by a huge mandate, okay? He won the White House, he won the Senate, and he won the House of Representatives, okay? That means that he has total power, okay? Nothing can be done in this situation. 76.8 million people voted for Donald Trump, okay? So in terms of what can be done, there's nothing really that can be done. He has a pretty strong mandate for the next 2 years. Hopefully, he does get what he needs to get done.
And they're also saying a lot of Americans still are overcoming the shock by taking a breather over the holidays and planning to get back in the game after January 20th, which is something I've been saying for, I don't know, the past 7, 8, 9 months. Because you don't ever know what's going to happen with an election. You can hope and plan, and when stuff goes down, you got to make a decision. We're not going to know jack until January 20th, until he's in. You're not going to know what's going to happen. And is no point, in my opinion, is no point in working yourself into a lather over it. I don't know if you agree, but I'm like, okay, I'm not going to yell at the TV until I know what I'm yelling about.
Well, it's been exhausting being that, Donald Trump has been running since 2022 again. So watching this campaign cycle, it felt like it lasted way longer than anything ever should. And then for some of us, we didn't win this election, what we wanted. That was a resistance, and then the votes come in. Right now, I think everyone's not only exhausted from politics, the holidays are a beautiful thing, but they're also a heavy thing for a lot of people. And so we're heading into a place where you need a refilled tank to deal with anything you're dealing with, whether it's grief, loss, or the happy parts as well. And then I think you have to think about what the action of that resistance looks like when things are actually done. Arguably, Matt Gaetz was a resistance because the public scrutiny of that and all of the coverage of that, even Matt Gaetz said when he resigned, this became too big of a distraction. That was resistance. It may just not look like what everyone's thinking it is.
He didn't resign because he was a distraction. He resigned because he wasn't going to get confirmed.
I'm going to have to totally disagree with her right here, okay? He totally resigned because it was a distraction. And if you think that Donald Trump couldn't have got him confirmed in the Senate or had him as a recess appointment, you're sadly mistaken, okay? The Republicans have a Senate majority. It only takes 51 votes in the Senate to confirm him. I believe Donald Trump could have easily influenced these senators to have them vote this guy in easily. I think he could have. I mean, I think he has enough pressure. I think his mandate's strong enough. I think if push came to shove, he would have got them to actually vote this guy in, okay? Matt Gaetz. Secondly, if the Republicans did want to rebel a little bit and did not want to have him actually appointed, then he could do one thing. It's called a recess appointment. He would just basically appoint him without having a Senate confirmation, and boom, Matt Gaetz would have been there. And we all know that Donald Trump would definitely do something like that. He's not a typical politician. So due to these two things, is definitely a possibility he could have got confirmed, and also the fact there really wasn't any evidence in terms of these allegations. The DOJ didn't press any charges on him. The witnesses were all tainted witnesses, basically. One person was actually an informant, pretty much. He was being charged with some other offenses, and basically he wanted to rat out Matt Gaetz to get a lighter sentence. So the case was pretty thin at the least. And I do think Matt Gaetz just said, you know what, we don't need to do all this right now. I think Donald Trump he has a strong enough mandate. We don't need to do all this. I mean, I know I could become Attorney General. Trump probably said, hey, you don't need to resign. I'll make you Attorney General no matter what. But, you know, because he's a team player, he said, I'll just step out of the race. So, no, he definitely could have got confirmed. We all know that. This is Donald Trump here. This isn't some degular politician, okay?
2016. In 2016, at this time, the Women's March was being planned. That began getting planned the election night, and it began with a Facebook post of a housewife in Hawaii, and it turned into millions of women marching all over the country the day after the inauguration. I think, look, we're all 8 years older. I think a lot of us are still apoplectic that America voted against a qualified woman again and put in, you know, this racist, misogynist, and they don't care. And so,
okay, I don't know what world these people are on, but these women. Okay, so I don't know what world these women are on, but Kamala Harris was not a qualified candidate. We all knew this. I mean, if you were sitting there during the election cycle, you know she was not a qualified candidate. She couldn't answer any questions, fumbled every single interview, failed miserably in the debate, couldn't differentiate herself from Joe Biden in any way, shape, or form. She was a flawed candidate, and it wasn't because she was a woman. It wasn't because she was a person of color. It was because she was not the right candidate, and she was not better than Donald Trump on all the issues. That's basically what happened here, okay? She was not a qualified candidate. I can't believe she's saying that. Oh, she was the better candidate. Really? Really? No, she wasn't, okay? At all.
The next 4 years will look different. That's not a Herculean task. That's for us. We don't want that title. I have no goals to be a martyr for a nation that cares nothing about me. And I think a lot of black women are feeling that way.
So I feel a bit different because God's honest truth, I kind of always thought Trump would win until maybe the final days just because it felt like Kamala Harris had this real momentum. But the signs were there.
Yeah, that's another point I have to make here. If you didn't see Trump winning from a mile away, I'm very surprised. As soon as the Biden-Trump debate happened, I knew it was over. It's pretty simple. It was over. The guy couldn't speak. Clearly had some cognitive issues there, 100%. If you thought that, you know, Trump was going to lose to Biden, you were sadly mistaken. And then when Biden dropped out, oh, baby, I knew it was over. Because, you know, Kamala Harris is a wooden candidate. She is not a real candidate. And if she was actually primaried, she would not have been the actual nominee. We all know that. So if you didn't see this coming from a mile away, I mean, months out, whenever the debate happened, it was in October, July, or something like that. Yeah, if you didn't see this coming from miles out, then I'm sorry. But yeah, this was going to be the outcome. Wow. I knew that he was going to win. Apparently they didn't.
And I have a very diverse friend group, family, like people who vote different ways. And I have felt like there was a yearning in this country that people wanted Donald Trump back. And the most common thing I heard this entire election cycle was, I don't like his personality, I don't like the way he talks, but my life was better when he was in office. And I'm in this position where I feel a bit unburdened by what has been. I'm going to wait and see. He's not been sworn in yet. I'm somebody who probably agrees with 75% of his policies. If he focuses on creating jobs, on bringing down the cost of living, securing the border in a responsible way, and being tough on America's adversaries, I'm all for it. What doesn't mean we're not going to call balls and strikes when he does things that are beyond the pale or he uses words that are offensive to people, then be ready to call that out. But I just think I'm kind of shying away from this sort of apocalyptic, it's all, we need to be like losing sleep over it. The American system of government is strong. It's held. There are checks and balances, even if my party's in control of the House, the Senate, and the presidency. And I think we should I root for America, so I root for a smart, serious Donald Trump presidency, and I root for pushback when he doesn't do things that are smart.
I think all those things are great to dream about, and they're great.
I mean, we could think
I
bubble
have-
baths for 4 years and work on mental health, or we could just engage in the process.
As I've always said, this process was handled without me.
Oh my God! Now this pisses me off here. Just as victim, just saying that just without you. So you're saying that when you vote in a presidential election and you lose, the election never happened or your vote didn't count. No, your vote counted. It's just that you lost. It's this victim thing. It's really pissing me off. Yeah, Whoopi, look, you're part of the process, okay? Your vote counted. You voted. You just weren't on the right side of history, and you lost, okay? That's all it is. It's not, the election didn't happen without you. Your voice was heard. It's just that other people's voice, it's just that it was in the minority this time, okay? The majority of people wanted Donald Trump to be president, and that's not just white people. It was black people, too, like myself. Black people, Hispanics wanted him to be president. The majority of the American people want him to be president. Just because you didn't want him to be president does not mean your vote did not count. So, I mean, if we're all about democracy here, if we're all about, saving America from Hitler, as what everyone calls him, then let's not deny what happened, which was a total fair election, and you just lost. That's all. It wasn't your vote was definitely counted. Let's not do the whole, oh, my vote didn't count. No, your vote counted. Your voice was heard. It's just, people had a different idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the things I was looking for, and I listened to people make fun of it, it's not about race, it's not about misogyny. It is for me.
Well, at least you can admit it. I'll give her that. At least you can admit it. I guess that it's all identity politics. Okay, great. Just say it. Yes. I wanted a black woman to become president, and it didn't matter what she had to say. It didn't matter what her policies were. I just wanted her to be president because she was black and she's a woman. Fair enough. Luckily, the majority of American people, they vote on issues. They vote on, what's actually going on rather than, what somebody looks like or what someone's identity is and things like that. So at least she can say that. I'll give her props for that. She admits it. Hey, she's black. She's a woman. I wanted her to be president. Okay, great, but that's not the only qualifications. And she was not elected because she was a woman or because she was black. It was because she was not the right candidate, okay?
It is for me because that's how you see me first. So that's how I have to respond to you. And I don't think this is what you're saying. I want to be really clear because you know how they like to always put us, oh, and she was mean to her.
Yes.
There we go. The View, once again, deranged. Now, in terms of what he's going to do, he's going to make America great again, and he's going to close the border. If you have a deportation order, you're going to be deported. Basically, what's going to happen is it's just going to go back to the way it was. It's not going to have an open border anymore, okay? It's not going to be any drastic change. It's not going to be a bunch of army in the streets catching people in nets. No. What's going to happen is the border is going to be closed. If you're a criminal, you're going home. If you have a deportation order, you're going home. That's pretty much it, okay? It's not going to be World War III out there, or it could be, with Joe Biden and doing what he's doing now, but I could tell you exactly what's going to happen. The world's going to be a lot calmer, and it's going to be a lot safer, and, we're just going to go back to, normalcy. That's exactly what's going to happen. So, please, these people need to calm down, relax. Things are going to be great, okay? These next 4 years are going to be great. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. Everyone's going to be just fine.